Incoming communication. Receiving new directive. Report from Sector 176.
We have recently captured 2 Federation vessels, identified as the USS Danvers and the USS Tonawanda. Residual tachyon particles have been detected on their hulls. We must relocate these vessels to Nexus 4288, where they will be disassembled and fully analyzed. We must determine the location of the tachyon particle nebulas if we are to reactivate the transwarp portal. These ships must not be destroyed.
Information received. We will proceed as directed.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Star Trek Armada 2. This is mission 25, so we're almost halfway through the Borg campaign already. As you can see, I've got a pretty decent-ish fleet down here with a couple of Borg cubes, and we've got to keep this Nebula-class ship and the Sovereign-class ship intact for the rest of the game. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave them down here for now. They're pretty safe at the moment. The computer won't go for them. I do like how, as the Borg missions are progressing, that we're given ships from alternate races. Like we have a warbird here. I think that's great.
We serve the collective.
But we've not got any resources available at the moment, so I'm going to have this detector warp out and try and find some, because I'm going to be in desperate need if I'm going to rescue those ships from where they are. Because, as you can probably guess from looking at the first few ships that attack, Species 8472 are all over this grid. Now, I've already mentioned before how, or what my thoughts are based on the fact that I'm not a fan of Species 8472 in this game because it detracts from the Borg. I'm going to stop mentioning that now because otherwise it's just going to take over the rest of the walkthrough, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is just concentrate on some strategies and what we can do for that. Obviously, taking on Species 8472 with anything short of cubes is going to be complete and utter suicide. We saw in the first mission how badly just a standard cruiser just utterly wrecked a sphere. So our low-level ships are just not going to get the job done here. So I'm afraid that it's top-tier ships all the way. Fortunately, Species 8472 don't really bother us too much in this mission, aside from something that scared the hell out of me that you'll get to see. And we get to kind of build up our own little fleet going on here. See, even Species 8472 aren't immune from the BS of long-range torpedoes. They're quite damaging as well, those torpedoes. At least they're organic, that looks quite cool. Yeah, the Species 8472 ships don't use torpedoes except for the long-range ships, but they use the biopulse beam, which does a heck of a lot of damage when, certainly off their larger ships, that biopulse beam really does a lot of damage. And their battleships certainly can take a hell of a beating. They can take like 4 or 5 full volleys off a starbase before dropping, so they're essentially just a really, really strong enemy, and the fact that they can't be assimilated means that we can't use the Borg's biggest strength against them. So basically we've got to use the other strength, just overwhelming power. Another resource processing node onto this planet.
Vessel construction complete.
And I built another assembler up at the starbase, and that'll allow me to get the beginnings of my base going. And we're going to go for the standard starbase and
insufficient resources.
Starbase and research facility. And wow, the Species 8472 do keep coming in, even though they are small ships at the moment, not posing too much of a threat. You'll notice we're severely dilithium starved in this level, so the fact that we are able to get a recycler does show, does help us an awful lot in this level, because there's metal all over the place, but dilithium's certainly at a premium. And if we're going to be constructing Nexi and the infrastructure necessary to build cubes, we are going to definitely need to transmute some metal into dilithium at some point. Still, first things first, the modification center, because I can't build anything without that. And just making sure that we're up to speed now. Okay, modification centers built. The advantage of fighting Species 8472 is that you don't have to do a heck of a lot of research, because they don't use cloak, so you don't need the tachyon detection grid, and you can't assimilate them, so you can't use any of their, so you don't need any of those abilities either. So the modification center is pretty much only there to advance you into your other buildings. I suppose it's a little bit of a beginner's trap that you can end up researching stuff you don't need. The only thing you might research is regenerations for spheres, if by some weird stretch of your imagination you're going to use them, but I really wouldn't bother with them.
We will now be able to disassemble and analyze the Federation vessels.
The only reason you really would bother with them is if you were under a severe amount of pressure earlier in the game and you needed just something to get in the way. That message from the Queen was basically an acknowledgement that we'd built the recycler now, so we have everything that we need in place, so it's just to say that we now need to go ahead and continue expanding ourselves. With that planet and another nexus, that'll give us the that will give us the infrastructure we need, and I'm just transmuting some metal into dilithium using the recycler. You'll notice it is fairly cheap. Same cost as for the other races of converting latinum into metal, so even though the Borg don't use latinum, the payoff is that they're more efficient at turning dilithium into metal. So and they don't use latinum either in any of their research, which the other races do, so therefore the Borg have a bit of an advantage or a disadvantage in it. Bit of a mistake here, I'm going to go and build a technology assimilator. I kind of figured, or at least the guess at the time, was that since I have a Romulan warbird I might be able to disassemble it and nick its shield emitter. I can't, so I end up disassembling it. But I am going to build the technology node, because we're obviously going to need that, and we are also going to need the ship upgrade facility as well, because not only do I want tactical cubes available, I also want to actually fight Species 8472 without dying, so therefore I'm going to need the shields and weapons upgrades as well. This is the Species 8472 transmuter. It is essentially a movable dilithium refinery, so pretty interesting. The Species 8472 starbase is also manoeuvrable, so I guess it's the whole idea of having one fluent organism and making them different enough from the other races that they don't just play exactly like them, and I suppose that's certainly something that we can laud the creators for. It's certainly a laudable thing about the game. And there's the ship upgrade facility. We're going to put that down as well, so we shall soon have tactical cubes, and that will make me happy. Building, building, building. Still waiting on some ships here. Too short. Yeah, just taking a closer look at this advanced assembly matrix. Boy, does this thing look weird. So certainly different than what it looked like in the first game, isn't it? Where it was just blatantly obvious cubes were made there because it was a cube-shaped thing. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Oh, something just came. Something just spawned out of the west-hand side. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god, my spheres are going to die before they even get to being recycled. Fortunately, it used its special weapon when it didn't matter. Or no, it didn't. It stunned one of my ships. Ugh. Stunned my cube. Get in range of that starbase and die. Stop killing me. Look at how much damage that thing's tanking. I'm gonna lose my cube if I'm not careful here. Oh no, 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 no. This is awful. And they walked into a nebula just to be clever. Yeah, you can't. Oh no, not another one. Oh god, get off that, get off that. Repair ships, repair it, repair it. Don't let it die, don't let it die. Kill it. Wow, I was so lucky there. Fortunately, that second ship that came in was a frigate and not a battleship, so I think if it was a battleship, I'd probably lose the mission right there. And one thing I haven't noticed here, or I've just noticed it now, they managed to destroy my ship upgrade facility while it was being built as well, so that cost me 1500 metal and a load of time, so I've got to rebuild it. But I can't withstand another assault like that, so I've got to build normal cubes for the moment. I can't just wait on tactical cubes. Just anything at the moment. I've just got to get ships. I've just got to get ships out there. And I'm now building a load of torpedo turrets, although I'm not convinced how good torpedo turrets are against Species 8472. They're better than nothing. And my ship upgrade facility is now complete, and to hell with these normal cubes, it's time for some tactical cubes. Yes, it's very one-dimensional, but that dimension is fun. And fortunately, Species 8472 apparently just don't care about what I'm doing. Because as you can see, I now have a full fleet of tactical cubes, and there's not been a single engagement since that moment. So I guess that they really didn't bother. That was pretty much their assault, and that was it. Oh, they've spawned again, it looks like here, but we're going to take them out quite easily. Yeah, not so easy now, is it, now that I've got tactical cubes? I was always interested in that when the episode Scorpion happened and then Unimatrix Zero happened. It was like, how much more effective against Species 8472 are tactical cubes? Because, you know, the normal cube was totally ineffective against these ships, and our tactical cubes really that much stronger than normal cubes? Wow, timed this attack right, didn't I? Right in the middle of when Species 8472 decided to try and invade a little bit. Oh, that is a behemoth. You really want to destroy those ASAP. It's Species 8472's science ship, but it doubles as a battleship as well. And it has a load of really, really nasty abilities that you want to avoid as much as possible. And it has a shed load of biopulse beams as well. So you really want to destroy those as soon as you see them. I've run out of dilithium, great.
Unassimilated species engaged.
Yeah, they're trying to send a transmuter through the wormhole, that's not going to work. Oh, up against battleships again, and oh god no. That is the battleship special ability, it's called Insanity, and it basically makes you lose control over your ships for a small period of time. Sometimes ships can even self-destruct under it, so it's really not a nice ability to be faced up against. And I do wonder if the technology assimilator would work on it. I might have to try that out at some point, because it would be good to have... again, it won't work very well on Species 8472. Ugh, mines. Again, it won't work very well on Species 8472, but it would be a cool ability to have. And the defenders are throwing mines all over the place, which are causing me no end of trouble. And you can see how damaged my fleet is here, and you can't think that any other race in the game would cause me this amount of trouble. But especially when I've got a fleet full of cubes coming at them. But that's Species 8472 for you. They're not a normal race. But I'm afraid that it wasn't enough, and we've just dismantled their base. And I'm also going to colonise this planet, and I'm going to
By your command.
put some resource collecting down there, even though it's completely unnecessary at this point. If you
Rule of acquisition number 35. War is good for business.
yeah, how about not?
Serve the collective.
Give me that back.
We serve the collective.
Should have known from the last mission that it doesn't really pay to try and steal my ships. Hope the inertial dampeners are still working on that thing, or the crew will be plastered against the wall right about now. Yep, colonise the old M-class planet.
Planetary assimilation complete.
And I'm not going to bother with the planetary shield because there's no point. Species 8472 do have a super weapon, similar to how everyone else does, and if anyone remembers Scorpion, where the bioships combined all their firepower and used it to destroy a planet, well, that's pretty much what Species 8472 can do in this game. They can use bioships or battleships and a frigate to put out a humongous blast that's capable of vaporizing star bases. I'm not sure if you're actually capable of destroying planets in this game, but it'd certainly wipe any life off the surface of it. So that'd be unfortunate for you. But it's one of the most useless abilities in the game because it's so hard to set up. Because not only have your ships got to survive long enough to use it, they've got to get into formation, and it generally is just a bit of a mess to try and get it to work. A couple of Species 8472 Sentinels here, they're not going to cause us too much problems. I still can't get over the size of the torpedoes that the tactical cube uses. I think they're really funny. And with that, that Species 8472 pretty much wiped off this sector now. So all that's left is to escort the Nebula and Sovereign class ships, which conveniently there is a hole has been made in my fleet to accommodate them. And we are now back at the starbase, and we've achieved the mission objective, so we might be able to get that tachyon portal built and head back to the Delta Quadrant, or at least try and find out how Species 8472 are getting into the Alpha Quadrant. See you next time, guys.
Excellent. The captured ships have been successfully relocated. Proceed with directive. Initiate disassembly and analysis.